Jesus' death, burial, and resurrection is the gracious gift from a perfect God, and it has nothing to do with bunnies, eggs, or chocolate. So how did they end up in the story of Easter? But wait, Easter, where did that name even come from? I kept scratching my head as to this. How did we end up with bunnies, eggs, and chocolate for what is one of the most important stories in history? Hard as I tried, it didn't make sense as to how bunnies, eggs, and chocolate have come to replace the symbol of the cross and the life-changing story about how a loving God sent his son to die in the place of sinful humanity. So let's do a quick dive into the story of Easter and get to the truth. Make sure you watch till the end. At this point, I'd like to ask, if any part of this video helps you at all, please subscribe, like it, and share it with somebody or a group you belong to. I want us to be a community of people who are whole and thriving so that we are better equipped to support the next generation. It means a lot to me. Thank you. If you're a Christian, or if you're vaguely familiar with Christianity, you will know that Easter is a time when we celebrate the death, the burial, and the resurrection of Jesus, a really important time in our faith. We celebrate the resurrection with the symbol of a cross, or sometimes the image of an open tomb, or at least that's what it's about. So how did we end up replacing the sign of the cross with bunnies, eggs, and chocolate, and still talk about the resurrection in the same breath? I think how we got here is a combination of two things. First, the perceived origin of the name Easter, and second, Christians conforming to the culture. So, the name Easter, where did that come from? Well, there are a number of views online as to how we came about the name Easter, which is linked to the resurrection of Jesus. A popular view quoted on Britannica.com is from a St. Bede, an Anglo-Saxon theologian and historian. His view is that the name Easter is derived from Istra, the Anglo-Saxon goddess of spring and fertility. And guess what the symbol of Istra is? The bunny. This view from St. Bede is also referenced in the Bible Gateway Encyclopedia of the Bible, which states that the derivation of the name Easter is uncertain, but according to Bede, it is derived from Istra, a Teutonic spring goddess to whom sacrifices were offered in April. The pagan festival probably gave way to the Christian celebration of Christ's resurrection. So the presence of the bunny is a reference to the goddess Istra. Consider that the next time you have a bunny when you're talking about the death resurrection of Jesus Christ. The question is, who are you worshiping? However, Britannica.com also states that there is now widespread consensus that the word derives from the Christian designation of Easter, as in albis, a Latin phrase that was understood as the plural of alba, which means dawn. Would we ever know what the real origin of the name Easter is? I don't know. But I know that I don't like a festival where we talk about the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus being linked to what is considered a pagan festival. What about the eggs? How did they come to be associated with Easter? Well, there are a number of views. One of such is that during the time of Lent, eggs were not allowed to be eaten. So eggs that were laid during Lent were boiled to be preserved for as long as possible. As a result, after Lent, which coincided with the celebration of resurrection, there were a lot of eggs in abundance, so they celebrated with eggs. Another such view is that the egg is a symbol of new life emerging, and so is fitting for Easter, they say. Oh, and the chocolates? Well, I guess retailers thought to themselves, what can we sell to the people in this period in mass? And so, the eggs were chocolatified. That's a new word for you today. You're welcome. So, we have removed the cross, which is the focus and the symbol of the resurrection, and instead replaced them with bunnies, eggs, and chocolate. And talking about the resurrection and bunnies, eggs, and chocolate all in the same breath. When we use symbols that have nothing to do with a story, we take away from the story. We replace the truth with something that is not true. because it makes us feel comfortable and we blend in with the culture. Let that sit for a minute. It's not the truth, but it makes us feel comfortable. Is it any wonder that for those of us in the West, although we live in a free society and can practice our faith freely, yet we live like underground Christians? When instead of boldly identifying with and expressing what we believe, we blend in and stay silent. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this. Let me know in the comments below. What does Easter, bunnies, eggs, conforming to the culture, what does this all mean to you? Is it any wonder it feels like Christianity is dying in the West? Well, you may say, Christiana, I did not know that bunnies had anything to do with a fertility goddess. Neither did I. But I chose not to align those symbols with the story of the resurrection because it does not line up with the Bible. Cute as they may be, we need to check our traditions. We need to check our beliefs. Do they line up with the Bible? If they don't, ditch them. No matter how ingrained in the culture they are or how ingrained in the tradition of the church they are, our standard is the Bible. And remember, God demands singular worship. Celebrating the resurrection gives us an opportunity to tell about how God makes people right with Himself and how the death of Jesus ushers in God's kingdom. Activities focused on eggs, bunnies, and chocolates continues the misinformation and takes away the focus from the cross and the resurrection. Some argue that because the name Easter is associated with what can be considered a pagan festival, why continue to celebrate the resurrection? Well, I see the celebration of the resurrection as an opportunity to talk about the death, the burial of Jesus in a way that the world may never really hear. I see the celebration of the resurrection as one of many evangelistic opportunities we Christians have to tell the story about how God makes people right with Himself through the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus, a story that they may not hear otherwise. And that's why it's important, it is necessary that we keep the focus on Jesus and the cross. You're not any less a child of God if you choose not to celebrate it. So why don't we get rid of the bunnies, the eggs, the chocolate, and bring the focus front, back, center on Jesus Christ? Maybe when we do, we'll be more effective in our witnessing of the risen Savior. Keep your eyes peeled on my next video where I'll be talking about Jesus and the Samaritan woman, a story of hope and redemption. It will be good. Welcome to the family. If you've not done so already, subscribe, like, and share this video with anyone who it will benefit. Until I see you soon with a new video, watch this video next. Have a great week.